Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Gorale, and I have done quite a lot of planting since I seen you last. That one's all finished down there, all of the big stuff. The Challenger, I finished off that field myself because I had some issues with the hired help, and so that one's carrying on. It's now working away up through here. I've got the Ford over there that I used to refill the seeders, and I got a load of pallets onto a trailer and then I took them over there, and that seemed to be a pretty good way to do it. And the New Holland is over here, and it's making absolute pig's ear of that field. It really is. So we got the case working here, and this one's doing okay. It has just missed a little bit there. We'll have to tidy that up. So there's a few bits that I will need to tidy up afterwards, but generally this one seems to be doing okay here with the standard hired help. I think that the AI vehicle extension is better for bigger fields, but for smaller fields it's better to have the standard AI. Now, if I was to continue playing this map for a lot longer, I would probably join a lot more fields together if I could, and use the AI vehicle extension more than I do now. But I'm not really planning to get involved with any long plays on this one. I don't really want to do any what's the word? A time-lapse. I don't want to do a time-lapse on this map. I don't think it would work very well for a time-lapse. I think it's kind of a nice idea, I just don't think it would work very well. So my question for this week is, what would you like me to do about pigs on the next map? Would you like me to have pigs on the South American map or not? Now, I've been giving this some careful thought, and I reckon that if we're going to have pigs on there, what we're going to need to do is... Let me just load that one up like that, and then stop loading, unload onto the trailer, and strap them down. If we're going to have pigs on the South American map, what I'll do is I will buy the pigs before we start, and we just won't give them any food or water or anything like that. So basically they're there, it's like they're being held in reserve, someone else is looking after them, caring for them, but we're not getting involved with it. We're not doing anything to the pigs ourselves. What we're going to be doing is later on, when we're ready to start, we've got a few fields that we'll be able to use for crops, and we can bring the pigs in straight away and we can get started with them. So they'll be there ready for us when we want to start. With the standard game, if you've got the animals but you don't give them any food, water or anything, they just don't do anything. They'll just sit there. So that's what will happen. We'll get the pigs and they will just sit there on the map until such time as we're ready to activate them, basically, and then we can start using them in our gameplay. So would you like me to have pigs in the South American map or not? It's your vote. It's your game. Head into the comment section down below, let us know which one you want and why, and of course don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right hand corner. Now, how many more can I put on here? I think I can put, I think I can get another 6 pallets on here, and at the moment we've got 1, 2 seed and 4 fertilizer, so I think I will get 6. I'll get 6 pallets of seed, I think would be the best way to do this. We'll just go for a full 6 on here, and then we've got a little bit of fertilizer that they can top up with, and it's mostly seed that they're going to be using anyway. And how many is that? I don't actually know. Let's have a look. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, so I need 2 more. If I can get over there. There we go. And get 2 more here. So this pallets on the trailer actually works quite well. It's quite a nice way of doing it. Without having to mess around with the front loaders up here or anything like that, you can keep it nice and simple just using the auto-load trailer. I quite like the configuration of this auto-load trailer as well. I like the way that it's laid out. With the single pallet front and back, it does make it a little bit different to what we're used to, with almost every single configuration of pallets is done, well, the same as bales, with just 2 all the way through. But that, where they've got just the 1 on the front and the back, I don't know, there's something appealing about that. I quite like it. I'm not sure that I would actually do that in real life. I'd probably, if I was able to fit them on, I would put the extra 2 on. But I can live with this. I quite like it. It's a nice little touch. So we'll head over this way. We've got the New Holland is saying finished. So we might actually just skip down to that one first. We'll just stop that one right there. And right, the Challenger is almost done anyway as well. There's not a lot left on this one. I mean, we'll have to sort of finish this off manually just to finish off that bit, and then we can start that one on another field. So we get to that one in a minute. And we've got, this one's almost done. This one is done. well, I say he's done. He's got a huge amount left to do. What we'll do is we'll just use this one and tidy up the top end of this field. That field there is going to be wheat. We're just going to do wheat and canola. We're not doing any more crops than that. We're just doing the 2 crops. So if I just run straight across the top here and get all of this one done, I have been asked if I can plant that field over there with grass, and I will at some point if I've got time. However, you need to keep in mind that we don't have a lot of time. Time is not something that we have a great deal of anymore. We've got this week, and then I think it's 2 more weeks that we play on this map, and then the new DLC comes out. I don't know, though. I think it's on the Tuesday, so in which case we will have one more episode the following week, but that's not very much at all. So basically, we've got just a couple of weeks left on here, so I'm thinking that next week, well, to be honest, if we're fast-forwarding towards the harvest, we're going to need to do something with grass beforehand. We're going to be wanting to think about doing some sort of grass crop first, maybe some hay or something like that. I don't really know. I might just go straight for the harvest, and then, yeah, I really have no idea. It's a difficult one to call because I'd like to be able to do some of the harvest, and I'm sort of wondering. Give me some ideas today. What would you like to see next week? Would you like me to see me sort of doing some more stuff with the cows, with some sort of grass harvest? I'm not sure what sort of grass harvest, but some kind of grass harvest. Or would you prefer me to just stick with doing the crops? So we just fast forward. I'll keep the cows fed, but we'll get through to when it's time to harvest these crops, which will be in the autumn, and we can get going with the combines, and then we can worry about doing grass cutting after that if we do have time to do it after we finish doing the harvesting. So it's it'll be one or the other. I don't think we're going to have time to do a lot of both of them. So really, if we're going to go for the harvesting, we might be able to get to the cows. I don't really know. Right, this one has finished already. It's just a little bit down the other end of the field there. Oh, we got another couple of patches here. If I just tidy this up a minute, we can then take this one over and get it started in one of those fields over there. And where else have we got to do on this map? So we've got this. I've just got this piece to tidy up, and that's everything up around the pigs is all done. Then we've got grass over here. We've got 2 fields there that need to be done. And then we've got this kind of piece in the middle here. Most of this now is... Actually, no, most of it hasn't been done. All of this has. We've got these fields here that need to be done still. And this big area. So I think once I've tidied up here, we'll start down in field 49, because 42 is grass. So we start in field 49 with the case. We can certainly get that field done, and I think I'm going to do that with wheat. We'll do all of this up here is wheat. I'm going to do all of this here with wheat as well, and down to field 63. And then these through here, this is going to be the canola patch through here. So we're not doing as much canola as we are wheat, but we'll be doing some. Alright, we're coming down here next to field 42. Trying to come down here next to field 42 and not doing a very good job. Not driving very straight. And so there's a pond in the middle of that one there. And we've got this one is kind of stuck up quite high on this end. But these fields you can't really join together. There's tracks and stuff in between them, so it wouldn't really work out for that. So what we're going to do with this one actually I think might be better using the AI vehicle extension, if I can get it to work properly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the outside round on this field. The other 2 are already marked as finished. That's the problem with all these small fields, is you can very quickly get going on them, and then you kind of run into grief pretty quick as you're going around. Now, if I try to do this with the AI vehicle extension, it's going to get stuck on all of the corners. So you do kind of need to nurse it round the first time. So actually, with that in mind, what I might try to do is if I can spin round on a spot here like this, and I'll line it up down this way, I'll do one part. Well, I can sort of tidy this one up afterwards. I can put this one down through here. So this field here is going to be wheat as well. I'm just literally just going to press H, and I'm going to let that one carry on. Because of the multi-angle terrain, you can set it off in any direction, and it's kind of good. At the same time, it's not. If you've got a really long, narrow field that's straight, it's difficult to get it perfectly lined up, and you end up with the angle slightly off like that there. I don't think I'm going to do 2 passes up across the field there to clear that. But, I mean, I can live with that. So, this guy here, he's gotten himself hung up on this post. Normally, the AI is pretty good with avoiding that, but obviously this time it hasn't. Just ignore the really, really sharp turns that I'm doing with the Z-drill. We do want to try and get this job finished, so we are going to be doing things now that you would not normally have in real life. You certainly wouldn't be having it turning like that whilst it was on the ground, but we can do that round there. And we can get that one going down through there like that. If I can just get it roughly lined up. There we go. Set that one going down there just so that it finishes off. And then flick through to our Challenger, which has hung itself up on this piece down here. There is some more of this field still to do. Just slide it out around there. We've got a little bit there. And there's a bit there behind the pond as well. Plus the edges down this side. So I will start that up and miss a piece entirely, so I didn't really gain anything from that. And I'm oversteering. That's the one thing that I do with this Challenger, I noticed, because I did do some of this myself with the Challenger. I really do have a tendency to oversteer when I'm using this thing, and it's because it's really, really sensitive. And I mean, it's a really nice tractor and all, but it is extremely sensitive to steer. And, I mean, the other thing with this one is that it does tend to tear the ground up a bit. It tears the ground up more than it does than wheels do. And I believe I've got that right. And, I mean, if I haven't, then obviously point it out. But as far as I know, these do rip the ground up more than what wheels do. Because if you're turning with tracks, it's going to, like, churn the ground up. I've been asked quite a lot if I could use one of these in the time-lapse. And I've decided at the moment I'm not going to because... well, I don't know about Yorkshire. I've got no idea if you would see one of these driving around Yorkshire. But the next time-lapse is going to be Sandy Bay, and there's no way they'll be using one there. Sandy Bay is set in the southwest of the UK, which is where I live. And I have never, I've lived here for a long time, and I've never seen a Challenger driving around in the southwest of the UK. There might be. I'm not saying there isn't any. I'm just saying that I've never seen one, and it would be quite unusual to see one because... of the all the small fields. We've got a lot of smaller fields around here, and a vehicle like this is generally better for bigger fields without too much sort of turning and maneuvering because of the way that it does churn up the ground. If you were to use this in a small grass field, you'd rip half the grass up and it wouldn't work very well. So for that reason, it's not really a suitable tractor for my part of the world, which is where Sandy Bay is set. So maybe the series after Sandy Bay, I could see myself to... I can see my way clear to getting a Challenger and using it, but it's certainly not going to happen on this series or the next one. So let's just bring this up here and pull out there, and then back up round. We've got the New Hollanders stopped again. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go over to the New Holland and let's just get that one going. We can put that going on that bit of... on that cornfield over there. There's still some of the cornfield left, so it will be able to do some of that one. Actually, I might... No, I won't. I was thinking I could do it sideways, but I won't. I'll do it straight up through here, and it should turn at the telegraph pole up there. At least that's what I'm hoping. Let's set it there. Is it going to work? It's kind of going in roughly the right direction. This one is doing... Actually, this one's doing just fine. So, we just have to tidy that one up around the edges when we're done. So let's go back to our Challenger. There it is. And we can just finish tidying up this field. And then that's going to be... Well, actually, no. We do have a little bit more canola that we want to plant. But pretty soon, we're going to need to go and get that forward again. Helper G is blocked by an object. Which one is Helper G? That's probably the New Holland. I thought that you were pretty good for getting around these telegraph poles normally, Mr. Hired Help. You don't seem to be doing a very good job of it today. That's the second one you've got yourself hung up on. So let's just bring that in round. And... as far as my time-lapse series goes, I know that not everybody watches the time-lapse, but it is still, even though we've had the Gold Rush madness going on lately, the time-lapse is still the most popular series on the channel, which is why I do tend to talk about it quite a bit when I'm doing the other Farming Simulator stuff, because it's all related. And so I'm giving some thought as what I could do for the final series of the time-lapse. And we've got... Dowland Farm has still got another like 6 weeks to run, and I will stop that. Episode 44, I'm planning to stop episode 44, and that's kind of what I've decided will be like the length of the time lapses. I'll do 44 episodes, and we go from there. But yeah, so we're going to finish Dowland, and then we're going to go to Sandy Bay, and I'm going to do a 44 episode time lapse down there, which is 22 weeks. And then after that, I want one more, which will then take us through until the release of Farming Simulator 19. And I'm guessing that the final one will actually run a little bit longer than the 44 episodes. I don't know how much longer, but it wouldn't be very much, I wouldn't have thought. But I'm trying to decide what I should do, so I'd like some suggestions. Now, ideas I've had so far, I will start a farm with 500 cows and take it from there and sort of build up to maybe even a couple thousand cows. So it would be predominantly cows. I would focus on cows on that one, so it'd be lots of grass and grass-related stuff for that time lapse. Or I could do a big pig one, and I'm going to do pigs on Sandy Bay, but we're sort of building those up from scratch again like we did in Goldcrest. It will be a little bit faster than Goldcrest because I am starting with a bit more seed money than I did in Goldcrest. However, we're not going to be going massive scale in Sandy Bay. I don't know how big it's going to get yet, but it's not going to be absolutely huge scale. So I could do a big scale pig farm, and that would be a couple thousand pigs, and I think that could be, it's going to be, certainly would be a massive challenge to keep a couple thousand pigs running. It would be a massive challenge to be able to do that. You know, it would help if we did that. There we go, we can start the engine up. It certainly wouldn't be easy to keep a couple thousand pigs fully fed and watered and keeping them at 100%. My aim would be to keep them at 100%. So that's option 2. I'm not really worried about sheep. I've done sheep a bit in Rattlesnake Valley, and when you get a large number of sheep, you spend a huge amount of your time shuffling pallets around. You're just moving pallets of wool constantly, and it's not something that appeals to me a great deal. So I'm not planning on having a huge-scale sheep farm. That's not going to be an option. So it's either going to be large-scale cows or large-scale pigs, or I'll take a logging map and turn the logging map into an arable map, basically. Kind of like Hard Working. And if you remember Hard Working 3 back in FS15, that was my final time lapse for FS15. And you literally had to do that. All of the fields, apart from your starting field, were covered in trees. And in order to be able to get your farm to work, you had to buy the land, cut down all the trees, clear them, plough up and create the fields, and then you could start harvesting the crops off of them. I'm seriously oversteering here. I'm doing this way too much. I'm trying to sort of straighten it up, but I just, yeah, it's really bizarre. You know, you get used to being able to see the wheels and where the wheels are steering and so on, and I end up oversteering by a very, very long way when I'm using this Challenger. I really do. It's quite strange, and it's also, it feels a little bit strange the way that it responds. It's a little bit delayed, and then it does it too much. It's quite difficult to describe, actually, but that's about as close as I can get to it, I think. So, yeah, I would find a logging map. Now, there are a couple of logging maps on the Modhub that might work for it, but I don't really know at the moment. They do seem like they might be a little bit rough, and so they'll be a bit difficult for doing the arable farming on them after I've cut all the trees down and ploughed up the land. They do have the provision for it built into those maps. They've got a crop sell point and stuff like that on them now. So they are aware that people like to do that. But, yeah, so I'm going to have to look for a more suitable map, I think. And that would be an idea there. Or the final option would be Lossberg. I don't want to do this one, but Lossberg, I could see my way to doing that one. So it'd be lots and lots of small fields. I would probably end up joining a load of those fields in together. But Lossberg is a very good map. It's got very high ratings, and I hardly ever hear a bad word said about it. So those are kind of the 4 options that I'm thinking at the moment for my final time-lapse in the time-lapse series. So I'd just like to hear your thoughts and opinions today on what you think of that. What do you think my final time-lapse should be? I'm doing Sandy Bay next. That's a given. That's definitely happening. unless Sandy Bay implodes or something and can never ever work again, there is no reason that I won't be doing that map. So that's going to be the next time lapse. And then after that, what are your thoughts on what I should do? I don't want to just work through a standard map. I want to do something a little bit different, because I've worked through a couple of standard maps now. I've done this one. Not this one. I've done Dowland Farm. I sort of pretty much started from scratch on Dowland Farm. And then I'm going to be doing Sandy Bay, and we're sort of moving on to there. I've done Goldcrest. I've done a little bit in Rattlesnake Valley as well. Obviously, we did have to cut that one short, but we still did it. So yeah, I wanted something that was going to be a little bit different. So that's why I'm thinking big scale cows, or very big scale pigs, or the whole forestry into arable approach, or then the Lostberg, because Lostberg is a little bit different to a lot of the maps that I've been suggesting because of all the small fields everywhere. Some of them I would be able to change over and, you know, plough in together, but I can't remember now. It's been a while since I looked at Lostberg, but I know that there are a lot of the small fields that I wouldn't be able to do that to, and it sort of reminds me a bit of back when I used to play FS13. Now, when I played that one, I didn't download any extra maps. I never took an extra map for it, and I didn't even play Westbridge Hills. I only ever played on the Hagenstead map. And what I did with that one was I made all the fields bigger, and I joined together every single field that I could. And then all of the small fields that were left on the map that I couldn't join together, any small fields, those were all automatically put as grass. And I had one big field as grass as well. And then all the rest of the land on there I did as arable. That's the way that I did it. And so that's how I'd sort of see Lostberg happening, is I'm just going to set the hired help going on there and let that one carry on, because we've got another one finished over here. This one is now saying it's done, and it's actually done a reasonable job. We've still got a bit that we've got to tidy up, so we'll have to do some tidying with this one now. So yeah, the Lostberg map was kind of the way that I pictured things happening, by doing small scale, all the small fields and those would be the grass ones, and then the big stuff would be for the arable. And I could do it like that, or I could try and do it completely the opposite way around. I could keep the arable stuff on all of the small fields and just use small combines and small machinery, and then go really big scale for the grass production, and like do lots of silage bales and silage harvests for the biogas plant and things like that. Don't really know. So I'm giving it a lot of thought, and it's something that I like to plan out fairly early on, so that I can make sure I've got everything in place, because like I've said before, that is the big series on this channel. It's the most popular one, and it's the main reason that I would say the majority of people who've subscribed to this channel are here today, because of that series. So I need to give it the respect that it is due, and I appreciate that not everybody likes it. I appreciate that the time-lapse is not for everybody. There are people who don't like watching the time-lapse, and that's fine. But yeah, today I would very much appreciate opinions and thoughts on how you would like the very final time-lapse of Farming Simulator 17 to play out. Right, this one has wedged himself up in the corner. Actually, we've done this field. This field is nicely finished. What we'll do is we'll just tidy up around the edge of this one, and then we're going to go and get the Ford with the trailer, because I got it loaded up, but I haven't actually reloaded any of the seed drills at the moment because I've not needed to. I sort of did it while I was in between episodes, and I haven't actually needed to use it. So yeah, we haven't really done anything particularly interesting today. We've just been doing more drilling. I will finish this drilling before next week, so that we can do whatever we're going to do next. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be yet. Probably we won't be doing grass-related stuff. We won't have grass-related shenanigans on this map next week. We will get right through to the autumn so that we can do the harvest. And then after we've done the harvest, then we can worry about doing grass-related shenanigans if we need to. And not sure at the moment if we're going to need to. I think, well, we probably will, because, I mean, we can leave the straw on the ground, and we can come back to doing the straw afterwards, and then we can go and, like, do a load of mowing and stuff like that. We did bring the Crone was it the Big M, wasn't it? We brought that one in onto this map, and we had a go with that one, just trying a few things out, and it worked really well. It was really nice, but I do think it was a bit of overkill for this map. So I'm not sure I'd bring that one back. I'd probably just want to go for leasing a rear drive tractor and get the 3 mowers. That's probably my favourite combination of machinery in FS17 at the moment, is a rear drive tractor and the 3 Pottinger mowers, the 2 butterfly ones, and then the front mounted one as well. Get those going together. It's just fantastic. I love the rear drive and having those mowers on. It's just, yeah, there's something about it that really, really appeals to me personally. I don't know why, but I really, really do enjoy that. It's so much fun driving those around with the tractor going backwards. It's just something about the tractor going backwards that I particularly enjoy. Right, we just finished. I'll tell you what, I'll finish this bit and then we can get over to the, well, get the tractor, the Ford over here. So we can at least do some reloading of the seed drill before we go. And then all of the rest of these fields, I will finish them before next week so that we've got a little bit of progress at least. Because we haven't done, yeah, we've just been drilling this week. And that's, I like the Seasons map, the Seasons mod. I really, really love the Seasons mod, and it's worked out really well for the time-lapse series. It's been particularly good for the time-lapse series. The issue with a normal Let's Play is that unless you're only doing a couple of fields, it gets a little bit dull. You've either got to do hours and hours and hours of work off camera in order to be able to make sure that you get everything done, or you do lots and lots of the same, one after the other. Now, if I was to do a 50-episode Let's Play on a normal map, I'd probably end up doing the same number of episodes where I'm planting. It's just I wouldn't do them all back to back, would I? They would be spread out in between lots of other events. So you would see bits of planting sort of spread out throughout the series. Whereas with the Seasons mod, unfortunately, you have to do everything all at once. So you kind of get everything compressed all in together, and I can imagine that that's going to make a Let's Play not quite as exciting as normal. I mean, let's be honest though, this is Farming Simulator. It's not going to be hugely exciting. It's going to be entertaining, but I don't imagine exciting is really the word we want to go for here. It's just, let's go for entertaining rather than exciting, because I don't think that you want excitement, you want entertainment. I think there is a difference between the two, and I do think that it's sort of significant that we do keep in mind that there is a difference between the two, and we don't need to worry about crossing the boundary between excitement and entertainment. They are two different things. So let me just come through here, and I can certainly get excited about things that happen in the game and things that we do in the game. But I wouldn't describe Farming Simulator as a really exciting game. I would describe Farming Simulator as an entertaining game. It's designed to be a relaxing game. It's not designed to be exciting. It's designed to be relaxing and entertaining. Does that make any sense to you, or am I sort of just waffling on to myself for the sake of it now? I probably am, to be fair. Okay, I'm just going to park right here in the middle of all of these dead potatoes, and just stop that one there a moment, and we'll go through and we'll get the Ford. And I have not forgotten about my random events that I wanted to get set up for the Let's Play. And I'm hoping to have something ready by the time we start with the next series. So we'll start that up. Now, some people have suggested I could use like a website to do a random event or a random number generator or something like that. I decided against that because I figured it'd be just fine doing it like this. I don't think, I can just roll a dice here and I can just tell you what the results are. I don't think that we have to have you don't have to like visually be able to see it. I can just tell you what it is, and you've got the list that there will be a list. I'll put that on probably on the Facebook page and leave like a permanent link there so that you can see it at least. And so I don't think it's going to spoil anything by not having it in place. I'll just move forward a bit. Am I going to be able to get that seed? For some reason, you don't seem to, it doesn't like, oh, it did get it then. It doesn't seem to activate the trigger very well when you're like pulled up alongside the trailer, but that did at least work a little bit. So we can take that one and we'll slowly make our way out here and get started on the next field. So most of this out here is going to be wheat as well. My question for this week what would you like me to do about pigs in South America? Would you like me to do pigs or not? Because if you do, I'm going to get them all, and I'll get them on the map. I'll get it all ready before we start the series. We won't actually do anything to the pigs to start with. We'll just kind of have them there in the background, and then we'll activate them later on. So we can just say that someone else is looking after them and just keeping them alive. And then when we want to do them, all we got to do is go and add water to their water trough, and they immediately start then producing, and they sort of become active, and they become our pigs. So I would set it up with probably 100, maybe 150 pigs to start with, and then we could do it later on. Now, I did ask you originally if you wanted me to start with 300 pigs and focus on that, or did you want me to do the 160 cows that we got here and focus on those instead? And most people said the cows, so I'm not going for 300 pigs because I already offered that as like a main part of the map that you've already said no to. So we'd start with less. Yeah, either 100 or 150. I don't really know yet. I'll decide a bit close to the date, but we will be established. We're not going to try and start from scratch with the pigs like we did in Sosnovka. So if you would like pigs, or you wouldn't like pigs, let us know. It's your vote, it's your game. Head into the comment section down below, let us know which one you want and why, and of course don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right hand corner. Now, that just stopped completely. I started it, I put it going, and he decided he was going to turn around. Already he didn't like it. So I'm going to have to manually nurse this one around the edge of this field, I think, so that it works. Because it's raised up like this, I could easily see the hired help just driving off the edge, just because it can, and it's going to be that difficult and awkward about everything. It generally is. The hired help in this game is very temperamental. Some days it absolutely amazes you, and it does a wonderful, fantastic job, and you absolutely cannot fault it. And then other days, you look at it and you just think, oh, why? I mean, really, why? What's wrong with you? What are you doing? Yeah, and, well, I'd say some days you get one and some days you get the other. Absolutely not, no way. Most days you get both. You just get them both rolled into one. It doesn't really do half measures. Right, this field is just about done, so I will start finishing this one off. I will get all of this planting finished now before next week, and then we can hopefully be ready to do the harvest as well next week. So if you enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like, and if you really enjoyed it, please tell your friends all about me, get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.